Cheers. Bam. Cheers.
That was like something has to happen, right? Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey
everyone.
Marcus. Hey
Hey, Izzy.
everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Cheers, everyone.
Prost. Cheers.
What are
It's
you drinking?
Friday.
Craft beer again?
It looks like Coca-Cola, doesn't it? It's like a Belgian beer. It's really dark. It's not very nice, but it's all I had in my fridge.
Right
So
on. Right on. It's
yeah,
like a Guinness kind of thing, or
it's like a sort of a dunkel beer.
a dunkel beer.
Yeah,
Dunkel
like a
beer.
dark beer, like an
Because
ale.
like really, I tried it a couple of times, but Guinness is like the only beer that I can't drink, and like
I'm
not at
I'm not a
all.
big fan.
I,
No,
I don't get it. It's like what's the fuss
it's
about?
not for it's
It's
not for
weird.
me.
Gotta be real
Yeah.
drunk to do that. So hey everyone, welcome to 3 or 2 of a kind. It's Friday, 4 p.m. CAT. Thanks for making it. Thanks for joining live. We got a couple of people already watching. That's cool. If you're watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, wherever, leave us a quick note, leave us a quick comment. We're really looking forward to this because we're sitting at home talking into a computer. So it's always nice to know there's someone out there that is listening to us. So yeah, we're looking, we are happy for all shout outs. So please do.
Yes.
That would be nice.
And we're back from vacation, so people have to tell us how much they missed us. Of course.
And you haven't been just on vacation. You have also been at Touring Fest in
I
Edinburgh.
have.
And I was like, really, I wanted to step out of the speaking game, and I'm really happy with my decision. But still, touring game, Edinburgh.
It was
This is
amazing.
great. This is speaker life. So I was a little bit envious, had a bit of FOMO, but yeah.
Oh.
How was it? How was it?
It was amazing. They really took care of us speakers. So they showed us around Edinburgh. We got like an amazing speaker dinner right next to the Edinburgh Castle. It was so beautiful. And the conference itself, like unfortunately I had to miss the second day because I was already on the way to my family hometown. But the first day was really inspiring, a lot of great product talks, and also I think some of them are geared more towards founders and team leaders, and it kind of fit now that I'm a team leader and I don't just have to do like marketing and SEO, but I have to empower our people. So some really awesome talks to support me there. Yeah, so it was a really good time, and Edinburgh is fantastic. Have you ever been there?
I've never been to Edinburgh. This is definitely on my bucket list. That's for sure. And this is why. I mean, like, this is like the whole speaking thing. This is so great to actually, being able to actually go to these cities. They show you around. This is like they give you like the whole package.
They do, yeah.
And, that's what I meant by FOMO. So I really want to go there. That's for sure. Yeah.
And I got to see some friends I haven't seen in a long time, like Jono and Sam Alderson, Luke Carthy, Hannah. It was a really cool bunch of people, like familiar faces, new people to meet. It was really, really cool. It's been so long since I've seen some of my UK SEO buddies. And we had quite a few beers, of course, and drinks.
I would expect you to.
Yeah.
By the way, talking of familiar faces, we got Bianca. Welcome back from vacay.
Hey,
You're both are looking very relaxed. Yeah, we're trying our best to look relaxed. But it's been a crazy week. It's been a really, really, really good week. But a crazy week, that's for sure. So thanks for the compliment that we look relaxed. Yeah, I really try my best. Friday.
Always.
To look
when
relaxed.
do we not look relaxed?
Yeah, absolutely. And we got Leah. Familiar faces. Leah from Minnesota. Thank God it's Friday. I missed you like the Minnesotans miss the sun in January. I heard it really doesn't come out during that time of the year. Thanks for watching. That's awesome. Very early over there
so
in Minnesota.
Sweet.
Yeah, really cool. Yeah, and I'm so excited for SEOcom next week. So for all English-speaking listeners, SEOcom is like after SMX Munich, probably the most important SEO conference in all the German-speaking countries. It used to be really big, always way beyond 1,000 people. This year they have to, due to the 2G thing, they have only 500 people there. And a lot of people also obviously hybrid in the video stream, but still like a 500 people. That's quite nice. Lots of SEO, German SEO celebrities, obviously you as well, going there. So yeah, I'm also
the only non-German.
No, actually not. I think no. Vahan is also coming from Search Engine Journal. I don't know. Vahan sometimes
that's amazing.
maybe you listen in. He's also coming. There are actually a couple of people coming. I mean, like everybody wants to get out, finally wants to go to the conferences again. And this has always been like one of my favorite conferences, and not just because I was keynoting it for 10 years, but just really it's solely focused on SEO. What I really like, because you have a lot of these conferences which also will do like PPC and affiliate, whatever, right? And this is only focused on SEO, and you only have like really SEO savvy people there. Somebody's calling me. That's a bad timing to call me. Sorry about this.
Sorry.
Yeah, maybe this person should actually look here so he would know. He or she would know. Yeah. All right. Gonna call you later. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. Although Salzburg, Austria, is now again a high risk country, but
I know.
Yeah, I got the dab twice, so I know should be fine. And yeah, I just really want to go. It's like really, I don't want to spoil the fun, so to speak.
Yeah, I'm sure everything's gonna be fine. It's just a little bit annoying. The cases in DACH, in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland are on the rise again.
Yeah.
So I'm staying positive, like not corona positive, but mindset positive.
Yeah, please. I'm staying positive. Don't say that. That's the word.
This pandemic has ruined this word for everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, what are you talking about next week?
I am giving a huge rundown of how you can survive turbulent SERPs, because in the past year, we've gone through some hell. We have seen so many changes. We've seen algorithm updates back to back. We've seen the title Armageddon and everything. So I'm taking a look at what has happened, what can we do to secure our snippets and our clicks, and also some ideas of what could be coming in the next year.
Awesome.
That's what I'm preparing at the moment. So it's all snippets. It's back to my roots, like what I started speaking about but haven't done in a while. So it's kind of nice in this way that I could do some more research and some more idea gathering and theory crafting here. But it's been a lot of work. So I've been quite busy recently. I've been on holiday for 2 weeks, and I've had 4 conferences in the past 4 weeks. So
wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had call with Vitals at In Orbit, which was really cool. Last week, Touring Fest. This week, I was speaking at the ARD yesterday morning, which is Germany's like TV license, like a public.
It's like the BBC, the
exactly
CNN kind of thing. The official first German television. And they had an in-house SEO conference, and you were one of the speakers.
Yes, which is an honor.
And I also had the pleasure to do a little bit of analysis.
Thank you so much.
You there.
Yeah.
You really get to give me some more insights.
They were so thankful. They loved it. So awesome. Thank you once again for helping me out. And then again next week with ZeroCon, which I'm really looking forward to. That's like the cherry on the cake of this winter and every winter. So like when we can go there, I really can't wait. It's going to be fantastic.
Awesome. Really cool. So cool. Yeah, let's spill some beans or tea or whatever. Spill something.
Oh, that's great, Marcus. Because I ate so many beans when I was back in the UK. I love baked beans. It's so British, and they have them in America. Anyway, let me share my
breakfast buffet, and I'm always thinking, who eats this baked beans in the morning? Who does that?
Izzi. I love them with sausage and bacon and egg.
Oh,
yes. Yes.
Don't get me started.
Okay. And because I've been gone on holiday, Marcus is gonna keep us all updated. This is a topic that I was already aware of and I'm already a big fan of. This is from our data science team, who are spending time working on data labs, which is basically where they create prototypes for potential features or tools that we can integrate it right, and then get a sort of feel for how important they are to the industry, which is a really cool idea. I love this, that they sort of create these prototypes and they create research and studies. For example, the newest one, which we love, is about classifying and finding the trustworthiness of a page, which is really hard to quantify. And they've been already laying the groundwork on this really important topic. And I would love to see this as a tool.
Absolutely. And everybody's talking about EAT, right? And this is so exciting about this, that you can, as I already seen some of the results, and it's like, I'm like, really, I'm amazed, right? On how the computer can predict whether, or how trustworthy a website is. This is crazy. This is like really, I was really impressed by, this comes out of a computer, right? And it's like, like, wow, this like manual classification. But it's really, really cool. I can't wait to get this integrated in whatever form, because this is really exciting. Yeah.
I love it. And there's so many applications for this, isn't there? So not just having like a sort of check, when our crawler is analyzing your website, like, okay, the page is trustworthy or not, but also combining this with like the GSC data, with potential core updates that are happening, like, there were correlations between pages that lost traffic and pages with a high untrustworthiness. Like, these are the really, really exciting things that I'd love to see come out of this kind of study there.
Yeah, and also analytics, bounce rates, and kind of like stuff.
Yes.
You really see, okay, what's classified as not trustworthy actually has a higher bounce rate, lower time on site, that's kind of stuff. Yeah, so Data Lab is working like really hard on this, and I really can't wait to see some more results out of this.
Yes, so definitely check out the article in our Product Insights magazine. You can read all about how they're putting this into place using fancy things like neural networks and AI and stuff that I don't understand. Fun, nerdy stuff. Apparently, leopard print is really trustworthy, which I am not sure about. That was like a fun little fact.
All right. Statistical analysis gone wrong.
Yes, I think so.
One website so super trusted, and it uses
one of the outliers. Yeah. Great. Nice. Thank you so much to Dr. Killian and team. You're all awesome.
MC Semmelman.
Yes.
Oh, this is because he's like the MC in our in our company updates lately, and this is why
he is.
Yes. By the way, we also had a company update again this morning, and also your life partner, your boyfriend, Armin, 7 years at Right. 7 years. Holy shit! Right?
Yes.
Now the third longest righty we have, so it's awesome. Yeah.
He's part of the furniture now.
Yeah.
He's been there so long. He's actually sick at the moment, so he was watching from the sofa and blushing, like he wasn't expecting it all at all. He was really happy.
7 years.
7 years. Awesome. Yeah. So Credo have a new digital agency pricing study.
And by the way, something I also wanted to mention from us, because this was also from our data science team, what we also did this week, which was very, very, very cool, was our webinar with Mike King. That was really exciting. Mike really dropped some really cool stuff. So he was like really telling us about his basically him going back into wrapping and basically applying the same principles he uses in B2B marketing now for promoting his EP, his music, and also the shows he's been doing, and he really dropped some really incredible insights. I think that there should be a recording on the webinar page that maybe people can check out if they want to. It was really entertaining too, right? This was not just like typical webinar where you like get all the stuff. It was also really entertaining. It was really, really cool.
You two are just so on fire. I don't think the recording is live just yet. I'm sure it's coming out very soon. It's also very interesting to see Marcus there and Marcus on the screen, like two different Marcuses at once. You see, with the background image and you. But
Also very old here.
But do keep an eye on the webinars and videos page where they will be posting the recording.
Yeah, and if somebody wants it, just write to us directly.
Exactly.
We will somehow get you the recording. Also, don't worry, nobody is left outside. Just let us know if you want the recording. But it was really cool, and we had 1,000 registrations.
Yes, amazing.
Holy shit, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I love this. Yeah, this is really cool. Yeah,
and it's worth it just to see Marcus's rap, which is badass.
No, it's definitely not worth just watching these 5 seconds of me introducing Mike with a couple of rhymes.
Best introduction ever.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, I was like, really, I wanted to do something special, and I came to my wife, Becky, the night before, and I'm like, Becky, this is how I want to open. I just want to get it out there. This is what I do. Just what do you say? And I was like really expecting her to sweet talk me out of it, and she was like, go for it. And I'm like, all right, it's only 1,000 people watching, right? What can go wrong, right? Yeah. But yeah, that was good fun. Yeah,
that's a great idea. Yeah, definitely. Cool. So yeah, another great week for you as well.
Yeah, the digital marketing pricing study from Credo. It's always great. I mean, and John Doherty really built an amazing business here with Credo.
He's great, yeah.
It's really a phenomenal partner for agencies and also companies that are looking for specific agencies alike. And so he does this pricing study. And again, there's some really interesting bits in there. I mean, like, obviously, I only focus on the SEO part. There's also PPC stuff in there. But so I looked at the average SEO agency and consultancy rates, as well as the SEO freelance rates. And yeah, I was like, I mean, like, obviously, I think it's around like 400 people taking part in that survey, like a charge on average $112 per hour. Obviously, that sounds very low. But considering that this is, throughout lots of different countries, and you also see, like, in the US, it's a little bit higher than in other countries, obviously. But still, I mean, like $122. I mean, like that's a little bit like $1,000 a day. What I would consider actually a very low day rate for a very competent SEO. So I was a little bit surprised to see this number this low. But again, we're talking about 400 people, also freelancers in other countries, which might dampen the average here. But nevertheless, I was like, all right, sounds
interesting. Yeah. Okay.
And if you so here, 62% of SEO agencies surveyed do not offer link building. I think this is really cool. Although there was also something here, only 22% of surveyed SEO agencies do not offer content marketing. Said another way, 78% of SEO agencies offer some sort of content marketing. So we have people saying, also like 2/3, we don't do link building, but 4/5, also 78% do content marketing. So I think this is like a fine line and more like a definition thing, what they're doing there. But because at first I was like, really nice going SEO industry, we're really moving away from links. Link building, right? But yeah, with the sentence above, it's like, all right, maybe it's just like alter Wein neuer Wein in alten Schläuchen. That's what we say in English. So the same old wine in new packaging, so to speak.
Okay. So, yeah.
We used to do link building, now content marketing, and whatever. And the next one is also good if you go back and then actually all the way down. There's this SEO freelancer thing. Here, SEO pricing. There it is in the middle. Yeah. There was also some nuggets in there. Yeah, and also 48% offer hourly billing. I was really surprised by this, that half of the SEO surveyed would actually offer hourly billing. I mean, like, this is very, very granular, right? Also that you do this on an hourly basis. I totally get like daily basis kind of thing, right? This totally makes sense. But that 50% would actually do it hourly basis is, yeah, sounds very granular. How much SEO can you do in an hour? Also,
yeah. I opened your website.
yeah.
1 hour. Only 5% offered daily billing.
Yeah, it's also daily billing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Wow, interesting.
Also some interesting tidbits in there. You're going to go through this. It's definitely worth when you're an agency checking out here the averages. Great job here by John. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's really interesting as well, like the breakdown by, I mean, it's only like US versus worldwide, but it's still important to have. And I think he mentioned in the overview, it's like he needed to do this because there was nothing like this in existence. And that's so true. Like, it was really hard to gauge how other agencies and consultants were pricing their services. So you're like, do I go too low? And I always hear the argument that SEO services are always too cheap, that they all need to collectively.
You can get it on Fiverr, so
yeah, you get on Fiverr,
said, right?
800 high quality links for 10 euros, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's always like with the like how educated actually the customer is in that case, because I mean, like he will have 5 different offers from 5 SEOs, and they, you know, they all say the same things, right? They all sound smart, you know, they can all as a recitate the common knowledge of how SEO works, but you know, you don't really get a glimpse of actually the quality of work you're getting. And I mean, like, obviously, and then in some instances I'll go, this guy charges like 5,000 a day, and this one charges 800 a day. So let's start with the one with 800, and if it works, you know, we're going to scale it up. But yeah, guess what? It's not going to work. Maybe not that I'm saying that somebody who charges 800 euros won't move the needle, but I'm just saying it's very hard for a customer, obviously, besides the price, to really, you know, like see, so why is this more expensive? But I think there's this great saying that, you know, you don't charge for the hour or for the day that you spend for the customer, but actually for the 20 years of experience, you know, you piled up. And this is just it. Yeah. Sorry, somebody's coming. Yeah.
That was a really nice little ending to your statement.
Moving on.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. This is also very cool. Von Databox, most profitable business model for agencies. I think it was very fitting with that what John had here. If you scroll down, there's some interesting stuff in here. For example, scroll down. Here. So the number of customers, what was it here? Also 55% of agencies have more than 25 clients in total. I mean, like in this, I mean, per se, it's interesting, right? That you have half of those agencies actually. Okay, Belly is back. Belly actually now does Taekwondo.
Nice.
And, she just had Taekwondo practice, so she's like probably all
so fired up now.
Yeah, and she's gonna like kick my ass when I'm coming upstairs. She's like,
be careful.
Yeah, she's mad ever since she got into Taekwondo.
Great.
So I actually like this, right? I mean, it's an interesting fact that half of the agencies here have more than 25 clients in total. But I think what's actually missing is how big is the agency, right? Because if I'm a two-man shop, as a two-person shop, and I have 25 clients, and I'm probably not doing the best work for all of those 25 clients. On the other hand, I have 600 people with 25 clients. It's a little bit. So I'm missing the component of how big the agency actually is to really make sense of this, this statistic, so to speak. And the other statistics just as well. It's still interesting, but since you don't know the size of the agency, it's a little bit of, well, it could be anything. If you scroll down, they have it with the which payment model, right, is the best choice for an agency: flat fee bonus, hourly rate. And I also thought this is
performance based. Yeah.
Performance. I actually like performance based. Also,
Yeah.
I actually had a
It's quite
very
low.
good deal, like almost 20 years back, where I had the subdomain of a very popular brand. I really got the subdomain. This was my subdomain. For every user I sent there, I got a CPC, right? And that was phenomenal.
Wow.
You could actually outrank the main domain, right? And then that would work quite nicely. But again, this is like 20 years ago. And it's
Yeah.
still, I mean, like, this was still a win-win situation because it was working for free, right? And I actually like that model because let's take, for example, the other way around, the flat fee, right? Because I'm a high critic of a flat fee, like having a project. Okay, like, this is what we want to do, and it's a 100,000, it's 100 grand, right? And as we all know, a website SEO, it's not done, right? It's never done. It's not like you do a poster that it's hung up only around the city, now it's hanging and everything's done. It's never done. There's always something coming up, and you really got to be very specific about what you're doing within that project flat fee, so to speak, to be like really. But in most cases, I would assume when the project is all done, like, most of the SEOs like choosing this model will be like, oh, if I calculate this down to my hourly rate, I really got ripped off, right? Because I put much more work in there.
Yeah.
And as always in SEO, and this is what I like about performance-based pricing, right? Because actually in that case, I was really, because if I have a flat fee, I'm like, I don't want to do more than it's expected at some point, because it's like I'm just increasing my loss, so to speak, right? While on performance-based pricing, I will work as much as I can, right? Because the more I put into it, the more I will be able to earn, right? So I think from that perspective, you will have a much more engaged SEO, who's paid on performance base, especially if you believe you can really move the needle here, and you actually can, right? He will be
Yeah.
very eager to spend as much as he can on that. And in regards to a flat fee, where it's like, really, oh man, I'm not going to do anything anymore for this guy, because I'm like put way more hours in there as expected, right? So I think this is kind of interesting, again, that that SEOs will maybe not always choose the best model, or cannot choose, because the customer won't let me, maybe because this is what explicitly
Yeah.
looking for, right?
But with performance based, it's really risky. Something could go wrong that's out of your power, and this happens a lot of times where you're doing things right, but it looks like you did nothing at all.
I mean, like, obviously this doesn't, I mean, like, also when somebody comes with a new domain. So I have this new Viagra site. I just registered the domain. Will you do SEO on performance based?
Yes.
Yeah, I can register the domain as well, right?
It depends on the client, of course.
But if you're
Yeah.
working for a big brand, right? And you also, and I mean, I totally get that, right? I mean, you also don't want to work on a brand with, like, I don't know, with like 20 different agencies, 20 different cooks in the kitchen, so to speak, right? But if you can really, like, isolate like a specific thing, in this case,
Yeah.
like that subdomain, I was like, really, I'm happy nobody's doing anything of that subdomain besides me. I mean, like, obviously I will, right? As a, so it always depends on the deal, but I found it very interesting to do it this way back then.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, and this is like what type of more convenient long-term collaboration I would always assume, like, that is, and how many clients I have with the agency over 1 year. And here I think you see, and what I also notice in the industry, that there's a lot of fluctuation in the SEO industry space. As that you have really customers every year, they go to a different agency, right? And this is also, I think, not good also from the customer standpoint. Like, I mean, like, obviously, unless you're like really unhappy with the agency, but since SEO has a big time delay sometimes, right? It always creates these weird situations. And I also had this weird situation again, like 15, 16 years ago, working with a big brand, and I like really a huge trophy keyword, like a really huge trophy keyword. And we're working our asses off, and you know how it is, right? With such a keyword, it takes a long time to really for really something to happen. And I was like, hey, we're on track. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're absolutely on the right track. It's going to happen. But well, you can say this all the time. And they said, no, you know, Marcus, no, we're going to use another agencies. And I kid you not, a week after they hit #1 for that keyword. And obviously the other agency was like, oh, you know, this is what I did, and now it's #1 for that keyword. Look at me, right? It's like, oh my God.
Yeah,
really?
that always
Really? What? Oh, come on.
Oh, the audacity.
Yeah, I did all the cleanup, really. I did all the shitty work, right?
No.
And he's like, I don't know. He has like, oh, bought one link, and it's like, oh, this is what I did. You see, this was just this link building. Tandler doesn't want to sell your link building. I just built this one link, and now I'm #1. Look at me. I'm the best SEO. It's like, no.
It's like the jar situation. You've been trying to open the jar for ages. You ask someone else to help, and they can open it because you loosened it up.
Yeah, but maybe I also suck, and this guy really, you know,
maybe you do suck.
That link. Who knows?
Right? Who knows? Have you ever thought of?
Have you ever
maybe
thought
it's bad
about
at SEO.
that you might suck at SEO? Thank you very much, Izzy.
That's a good billboard. That's a good slogan. No,
that's
you're a great SEO.
Yeah,
of course. What's up next? Oh, this is really cool. So when Bing and Yandex launched IndexNow, Google was pretty clear that they didn't want to be involved. And now they've said that they are actually going to test it for sustainability purposes.
Yeah, also this is was eine Ente? A duck?
A duck?
An Ente.
Yeah.
Also, this is BS, right? I mean, like,
oh, is that what you say in German?
Like, yeah, eine Ente, ne? Also this is like really BS. I mean, like, people are talking about, oh, Google's now also testing it, and they're gonna like join this initiative. Never gonna happen. This is like really, I mean, like, Barry asked him for a statement. Hey, are you also gonna try? And then this is like the typical fluff answer. Yeah, obviously we're trying everything, and obviously we're also gonna look at it. Never going to happen. And especially because today, I don't know if you also have this in your, I think you have it all in the end of the YouTube video. It's actually this fantastic episode of
it's
the Record. Here, the future of SEO. And I actually listened to it today, and I wrote a lot of stuff down because it was like really, really, really interesting. And they also dove into that topic, into this push towards more to a more push-based approach, right? And I think, also, if you read between, if you listen between the lines, it becomes really clear Google is not really interested in opening this up, because it creates so many, also it basically opens up the spam gates again, just on a different, just just at a different place, right? Because he also said, which is very interesting in that podcast, he also said that when they had this, you can submit URLs, it was purely spam, it wasn't like even like 50% spam, 70%, it was just only spam, right? This is like, spammers are always abusing it, and they would also abuse this to the death, right? And so you already control it somewhat well, on the discovery, on the crawling, on the indexing side, and now you basically open up a new floodgate, and just the amount of spam you ingest, when you open this up, it's just amazing. And again, what does it really help? Because you're actually saying, hey, if you use the live indexing API, your stuff is going to get indexed. And so right now with crawling, you already have a queue, of the stuff that needs to be crawled, that needs to be indexed. And when you also push it in there, you basically have the same thing. So you basically open up another queue here, right? Also it's just so many things that people would abuse, that Google is not really eager to join this initiative, or also open up this program only, as I think, only selectively, really to specific publishers, but not for everyone like Bing and Yandex are doing. That doesn't make any sense also for them. And also really, I know I really like Gary said it much better. That's what I wanted to say. So Gary said it much better in that podcast. So if you don't believe me, just listen to that part from Gary there. Oh, sie braucht etwas.
Hi, Belly.
Hallo. Ich bin gerade
Sag doch Hallo, hier ist sie.
Hallo.
Ja, guck mal, sie.
Hallo.
Hallo.
Ja.
Edith.
Komm her.
Wie heißt dieses Wort nochmal, wenn ich so weit verbeuge?
Verbeugen.
Ja, aber wie heißt das?
Achso, das weiß ich nicht.
That's like me trying to learn German.
Also
How do I say this?
Ciao.
Ciao.
Tschüssi.
Danke.
So sweet. Careful of your eye.
Yeah. No, that's not gonna happen again. Yeah, but everybody who believes in this should really listen to the Search of the Record podcast. Listen to Gary, what Gary is saying. I think it's very telling. Also, the stuff that he doesn't want to say, but if you really listen between the lines, it's like really clear. We're not going to open that up. So this is just, a Google spokesperson answered the question, but this is not like, oh yeah, we're going to join this.
He's going to be testing the potential benefits,
yeah,
and then launching our own alternative in the next year.
I mean, they have it. I mean, they have it, right? And they offer it to a couple of publishers.
Yeah.
Right.
But for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense. If I know I offer this to a CNN, to a BBC, you know, that makes a lot of sense because these guys are not going to spam me. But mostly they're going to spam me. But this is it, right? The selective, but not towards the general audience, because you will have 99% spam coming your way, just in a different channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. So Tom Critchlow, who has a fantastic newsletter.
By the way,
Henning's late.
No worries.
Better late than never.
Yeah, better late than never. Oh yeah, I love this page. I love this. I actually discussed this in length in our daily dose of SEO because there's so many interesting tidbits here. But just to point out a couple. So he really also dug through the S1 filing, and as a couple of people did already. But I thought this was very interesting for a number of reasons, because if you go down, he actually goes into how much money they make, the growth levels, the international expansion. This was very interesting because they bought, what's the money, or what's it's called, Know Your Money. They bought Know Your Money in the UK and moved it, and this is interesting because you can really see, and they said we applied the standard playbook. I think this is one paragraph down. They applied the standard playbook here. By deploying our playbook, organic traffic to the NerdWallet UK site has increased from approximately 10,000 monthly sessions pre-acquisition to approximately 90,000.
Wow.
And this is amazing, right? And this is really when you see the power of the domain. I mean, like, obviously they moved it to the NerdWallet domain, which is very nice. But you really see the power of NerdWallet and their team, you know, to be able to like take something which is already pretty well, right, and basically apply their strategies. I mean, like, and they do superb SEO, and they can even, you know, leverage this very good brand already into really like an excellent site. And the next point he makes is even better, because you can also compare this. No, go up a little bit. You can compare this to what they did themselves in Canada. So you see in Canada, the blue line, you know, it's still good, right? As it's ramping up, right? But you can really see that acquisition, right, was so much better, and this really, you know, leads to the conclusion. I think they will not necessarily, you know, try to build it up themselves in different countries, but will find like a suitable site in a country market, like the local country market hero, buy them, and basically resistance is futile, you'll be assimilated, right? Although it's unlike the Borg, here you get a big big pile of cash, right?
Yes,
Right?
it's quite good.
But whatever, right? And I think this is the strategy here. And so I think like for a lot of people in the financial niche, this is like, scale up your SEO game, because you have a very potent buyer, especially when they go public, and they will definitely look for acquisition targets in different countries. So, all my German SEO friends here and everybody else in Europe, there's I think it's very clear this is like a very profitable strategy for them, and therefore I would totally expect more of like financial sites being bought and basically merged into NerdWallet. And what's also interesting is that, for example, the UK side had already existing deals, and this is how they make money, right? They don't do a standard eCPM kind of advertising model, but they have direct deals, right? So sort of like an affiliate model, but not like general affiliate, but having like a close connection with a specific merchant. And obviously, if you go to another country, right, also buying the company also for the connections, for the relationships it already has, offers them a much better possibility to monetize their traffic, right?
Yeah.
So like this all has to be calculated in. If you buy a big site like this, that you can make much more out of it and can monetize the traffic even better, right? So it really becomes like like a really easy decision, and you can pay a much higher multiple for these sites, because this is going to be successful, right? As I really like this analysis here from Tom. And then one other thing I wanted to point out, and this was also something I was desperately looking for within that SEO1 filing, was actually I wanted to see their SEO operation, like in those numbers, like what kind of SEO operations do they have? And it's just in the sales and marketing channel. But he definitely dug deeper, and we really saw that they have 100+ people content team, right? And this is where you really see how they approach this game, right? It's like when they started out, everybody would have said, what, you want to be an affiliate in the financial niche? Don't, are you kidding? Don't do this, right? And they just they saw that opportunity, and they invested a lot of money for all these content writers to actually create this really, really good content, which is now ranking up on number one. And I love this, because I mean, like, we have something similar. I mean, like, obviously it's similar, but not at all similar to what NerdWallet is doing here. But for example, what we did with our wiki, when we started with onpage.org, because we also saw the opportunity to create a wiki for online marketing and SEO related terms, which was not, there was none like 10 years ago, right? And so we saw that possibility, and we invested about like 250,000, 300,000 euros into that wiki, and we're still profiting from this. We're still getting a daily 5-digit amount of users from around the world coming to our wiki, basically free SEO traffic. I mean, like, obviously we did this investment, but we're still profiting from this 9 years later, right? And this is what I like, because we always are in these, like, when you talk to customers and you see this opportunity and you're like, this is an opportunity, you really need to invest in SEO here, there's a big opportunity, right? And they will be like, yeah, we rather put it in PPC because it's, much easier, right? But we're going to start with 1,000 monthly, but if it works, we're going to scale it up. No, take your 1,000, put it in PPC. Nothing's going to happen, right? And
Yeah.
this is like here. They doubled down and really invested in it, and look at that now. And the moral of the story, this could also been, for example, a Bank of America, an HSBC, whatever. They could easily like get the budget for like having 100 people, writing all that content, what NerdWallet eventually did, right? So these big companies could have done it, but no, it was like an SEO savvy affiliate who said, just going to rock their world. And I love this, because you can see obviously a huge investment, but it paid off, right? And this is what's sometimes missing, that people really double down even if they see these SEO opportunities, right? And like really like careful, and we rather do competitive research, right? And do like the granular stuff, fuck competition, right? I'm just going to wave to them from position number 1, right? And yeah, so this is why I applaud NerdWallet, and you can really see them, how they really double down on this topic.
Yes. And we've been analyzing Nerd Wallet for a while, haven't we, in the show? So they do keep popping up across SEO publications for their strategies.
Absolutely. Also, this is
Yeah,
really worthy.
it's so interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. There was also Russ Hudgens from Siege Media. He also did a piece on this, but I think this was one of the strongest pieces here from Tom. So you should definitely check it out.
Definitely, and subscribe.
Here. Yeah.
Type your email in there and subscribe because you won't regret it. It is fantastic content. Okay, another thing around legal problems with Google.
Yeah, I mean, this is just like a confirmation about what, they had this fine in 2017. They got ordered to pay. Obviously, they threw more lawyers at this, and now now it stands. They have to pay this 2.8 billion for everyone. Like us, if you get hit with a 2.8 billion fine, it's done, right? I mean, like it's done for them. It's still a small amount of money, and if you really think about, I know I'm like, I don't know if this is correct, but I mean, like 2017, you get fined to pay 3 billion, right? So, and now, no matter how many lawyers you throw at it, but this has been 4 years, right? So they didn't pay this, and just the interest they made on these 3 billion, lying somewhere in whatever Caribbean island or whatever, right? Just the interest of this, right, already paid for the lawyers and everything, and maybe they already got it back here, right? Also, it's just this game is such a charade, but nevertheless, this is very interesting, and I think there will also be something interesting coming out of it regarding Google Jobs, because one of the things that I think, which is also in this lawsuit, was that we had 23 job boards actually going against Google for Jobs, and especially because Google put it on top of the search. And this is this preferential treatment of your own product, right? And we all know this from the good old days with Microsoft Internet Explorer, bundling it with Windows and that kind of stuff, right? And this is the same thing, right? You roll it out and you put it above the SERPs. You have a preferential treatment for your own product, right? So Google Jobs might change in the process, at least, getting the number 2 result or whatever, which for Google and for the users doesn't actually make any sense, because, if you test these kind of scenarios, right, it would, as the machine would learn this box needs to go on top, because if I'm searching for SEO jobs New York, right, and here it is, here's SEO jobs in New York, that's exactly the content I'm looking for. I don't need to click through to Indeed, Stepstone, whoever, right, to see the jobs, because they're right here. And this is it, right? It's the better result for the user. But whatever. Also this might change, or at least this is my perception that this might change due to this factor.
Interesting. Yeah, I haven't read it either, so.
No worries. I love to keep you up. Also, I mean,
I know, it's so good. It's so helpful to have this session.
More than happy.
Yeah.
Oh, this is also interesting from Mike Blumenthal, great guy. Yeah, this is crazy. I didn't even see this, because Google actually renamed the Google My Business into, what is it called? Google Business Profile. Business Profile.
Yeah, Business Profile.
And the interesting thing here is, if you scroll down, there was an email, and the first call to action, if you scroll down even further, is this a little bit more? Is this here? New laws may impact businesses, right? And if you click through to this, go to the landing page. It's pretty cool.
What? Where's the link?
So there is the link in there. A little bit down. So understand, I don't know. Well, yeah, this is genau, yeah. There it is.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and this is interesting. So go a little bit down. Yeah, and this is it. So a little bit up. Yeah, so making it harder for customers to find you. As if these laws pass, it's more harder to find you. And then they even have this now and after and go down. And I think this is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. So Marley's ice cream, somebody searching for this, right, doesn't get the business profile, but in fact, on number 1, Marley's homepage, right? So this is her homepage, right? I mean, like, obviously you don't have the telephone number, the store hours, but you can still put your telephone number, the store hours in your snippet, right? As in, nobody hinders you to actually put
No.
information in the snippet, right? So I was like, before and after, well, I mean, I get it. It's like it looks nicer, but for the customer, actually, this is my domain. Also, I like getting
It's
people
quite
on my domain,
far-fetched.
right?
Yeah.
Also, yeah, whatever. But it's like really funny how they phrase this, right? Your digital marketing becomes less effective if Google ad products are disconnected from each other and from Google Analytics. La la la. Obviously also hurting the productivity if it gets unbundled, like I totally get this, right? But it's a little bit of fear mongering almost, right? And basically like getting allies for fighting these huge antitrust lawsuits. Also it's just an interesting find. I really totally missed. I mean, due to the fact I'm not really in local SEO, but this is really interesting. Yeah.
What about the local businesses that don't have a website? They will really struggle in these cases.
Yeah, but if you're a local business, you don't have a website, you really rely on Google here.
But so many local businesses, if they do have a website, it is terrible. Let's face it.
But it's a domain. I mean, like, also,
yeah, it's something. It is something, I know. But so many rely on Google My Business.
Yeah, but I wouldn't run my whole business on a third-party provider. Also, just saying. By the way, Heiko there, interesting, awesome. Heiko, famous head of SEO for German Spiegel. Spiegel Online, great domain.
The Mirror.
Yeah. Also again, nice find by Mike Blumenthal. Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Oh, there was a spam update while I was on vacation. Of course, there's always an update while I'm on vacation. I mean, this one is fine. I'm okay with the spam update. That's normal.
Absolutely. And
it's nothing major.
They said, actually today they said it finally rolled out. And I think there was a follow-up post. I think I sent you another post from Surgeon Roundtable from Barry, but there was a follow-up post from him today, and it looks a little bit like more fluctuation in the SERPs actually happening now that the spam update has ended. They explicitly said it was more targeted towards content spam.
Okay, yeah.
I found that tidbit somewhere. There was also like some people that were cloaking and that were complaining that they basically got eradicated from the SERPs. Don't cloak, right?
Like dynamic you can't complain.
Dynamic rendering.
You and the dynamic rendering.
Yeah, really. Don't get me started. I mean,
don't get it started.
Don't get me started. Yeah, it's such a scam. Whatever. So So what's interesting? So we see that there definitely has something been happening, but as far as I know, I looked at the Webmaster World forums and everything. As you don't see a lot of chatter, but obviously, especially with spam updates, it's not like a lot of people coming forward and saying, oh, my site got, eradicated from the SERPs, and
no, not in a spam update.
Yeah, that's it. So, but nevertheless, I expected a little bit more chatter, and I personally haven't seen any real examples besides like the obvious blatant spam cloaking kind of things. So yeah, it was like I would like to see more of this, but I just didn't.
Yeah, and it's always interesting hearing the stuff that goes on at Black Hat World. Well, interesting is one word. I don't frequent these forums, but you can see some weird stuff going on over there. But a very trustworthy source of information is the Wanley blog, who have covered the Chrome Dev Summit fantastically. A lot of tidbits of information here. Really interesting things coming out, such as the deprecation of third-party tools and what will replace this. But I don't know if you want to speak so much about the higher stuff, but I
like the user flows in Lighthouse. This is pretty cool because that you can actually also see what's happening after. I mean, this is obviously this is really cool.
Yeah.
That you can basically click through and actually can see what happens. But I think the most important thing in this one is that they announced that they might be having 2 new performance metrics, one being responsiveness. But this goes beyond first input delay. I mean, like, obviously this is the first response, but obviously, if you interact with the site a little bit more, and this is exactly what they're looking for, the responsiveness for all the other interactions beside the first input, and the other one, the smoothness, I think it's called that smoothness.
Yes.
Basically, sort of like the cumulative layout shift on steroids, right? That stuff like this doesn't happen, and they actually, really take the visible frames into calculation here. If it really appears smooth, if I'm scrolling down, or it's like this,
clunky. It's really optimizing here for the entire journey throughout the page. It's not just the first render above the fold, the critical rendering there. It's everything. It's like the complete interaction the user has. So I do really like these 2 new performance metrics. It's still in testing.
It's in testing, yeah. Also, this is not
it's not
but we
there.
also see Code Web Vitals is really like a living product, right? This is not going to stay these
they always said that.
Yeah, there will be more, and I really like this. Yeah, and there's one more interesting tidbit in here. And if you scroll down, I'm just like, I don't know again what it's called. Here, size adjust property for typography. This is really cool. So because when you have when you, for example, have like external fonts, right? And it will first start up with the standard font, which will have a different size, and then your font comes in, creating cumulative layout shift, right? Due to the fact that actually the font gets exchanged during the loading process. And here you can actually now size adjust the standard typography to at least be like the same size, that when it gets replaced, it actually doesn't create that shift. So I thought this is a very very nifty addition to use.
Cool.
Yeah. By the way, Google was down like for a short bit, and a lot of people that were using Google fonts, had like their websites looking like really weird. Fun tidbit: if Google goes down, also Google fonts. You shouldn't.
No, you shouldn't rely too much on Google for this. I had a similar chat with Jono, who always knows best, and his entire house is a smart house. So he has like his heating, his lighting,
he's a smart
everything.
Guy. He has a smart
exactly.
wife. Well, of course, they live in a smart house.
They need. So if Google is down, they can't even adjust the heating. They're just cooking in the living room in darkness.
And they probably get locked now or stuff like this. Right?
Yeah, stuff like this. The toaster is popping.
Oh my God. That's not a very smart house, to say.
No, it's...
I don't think it's people living in a not too smart house.
Yes. Sounds like a great sitcom
right now, because I would definitely get something.
Yeah. And also like auto generation for dark themes. And I am a dark mode user. And I would love that. I even noticed when I went to YouTube and it's automatically, you get used to it. Where was I? I'm here. I think every time we show a story, we need to just sort of bring up Heiko's comment like interesting. So thanks, Heiko. It is interesting.
Absolutely.
Oh, and Adi Asmani, who is an awesome person to follow, part of the Chrome web dev team, writes such amazing resources. Like a lot of the stuff you'll read on web.dev, Adi has been a part of. And there's been a study recently that a lot of origins now meet core vital thresholds. So it's kind of hopeful.
That was like actually in the keynote of the Chrome Dev Summit. They basically like went back to like their initial core vitals, how that is going, and you can really see, how the introduction of these core web vitals, we've seen this before, how WordPress, Shopify, Wix, they're all, like have been working on this. Well, this is awesome because it actually, it makes the whole ecosystem faster. If you have somebody like WordPress, like doing that stuff, you all of this, and it's 30% of the web being faster, obviously also reducing the CO2 footprint here, right? So this has large economic impact. And this is also very interesting because you can also see all the JavaScript frameworks, for example. And this is what I really like, because it's not about sort of like the B2C that the single webmaster, is like working on a site to meet the core of that vitals, but rather the big CMSs, the big shop systems, the big JavaScript frameworks, because this is where it really moves the needle for the whole internet as an ecosystem to become faster and more user friendly.
Yeah,
and this was one of the tidbits from the keynote, and this is really an amazing development.
Yeah. It would also be, I didn't catch the keynote, unfortunately. Like, I haven't caught anything in the past few weeks. It would be interesting to see how they were originally ranked, because, for example, Preact, which is a framework that we use for our own website, which is super fast. And although here it hasn't improved so much based on 2020, it was originally really fast. So there's only so much you can improve, right? Whereas like Angular has done a lot. They have improved from quite I'd say, I mean, I'm not Angular expert, but in comparison, it's a lot better.
I would still say don't use Angular. So, whatever. We don't want to. Interesting. We don't want to create a culture war now.
I know. Let's not get involved. Oh yeah, page experience.
This is just like a quick heads up, so to speak, that
when it's coming.
It's also coming to desktop. I mean, like, obviously, but if you're really, as if anyone really sees this and thinks, oh my God, now I really got to do something. I mean, good morning, right? This is sort of like the last wake up call, for the super lazy here. These are the guys that sleep in until 2 p.m. In the afternoon.
Like me.
Yeah.
Can't wait for Saturday.
I can't even. Yeah, as ever since had the kids, right? I think
6 a.m.
I don't even think about that.
Oh, but this is for the
who can sleep.
No. I haven't done that in a long time. No.
Just today.
Yeah, just today. My first meeting at 2:30. Got up at 2.
Yeah, sorry, I can only make a 2:30 meeting. I got some meetings before that. Sorry. You got that Slack bot that if somebody slacks you, sorry, I'm in a meeting.
Yeah.
Catch me at 2:30. I got you figured out. That's it.
Damn it. This is the article for those, if there's any people making excuses because the majority of their website traffic is coming via desktop devices. But yeah, hopefully that's only a small amount. This is a job posting that you sent to me. Are you hinting? Are you trying to get rid of me?
No, absolutely not. But
not that I could work here.
So this is like really, this is the cool stuff. This is like really search quality engineering, right?
Yeah.
By the way, I love this, that you experience working with one or more of the following languages, right? SQL, HTML, PHP. I mean, like HTML. Everybody that can spell HTML, whatever, right? I mean, like totally different. Oh, I can HTML, I can do C++, right? But yeah, whatever.
No.
And, but the interesting part here, what I thought is that it's actually only in the mothership. This is really Mountain View. So you can't do this in Munich. You can't go to, you can't do this in Zurich office or whatever. This is Mountain Dew. And Mountain Dew. No, Mountain Dew.
Mountain Dew.
Not Mountain View. Sorry. Yeah, that was a drink. Mountain View. So this is really only in the mothership. I mean, like, makes it much more exciting, obviously, also to apply for their job. But interesting, right? That you have like the really search quality engineers again sitting in at the mothership, so to speak, and just the interesting bit.
Yeah, nice.
And you have to have SEO knowledge, right? Experience in
Yes.
engine optimization.
Check.
and rat out your formerly SEO colleagues, right?
Oh.
No.
Oh. Never. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Wait. Interesting.
Interesting. Interesting.
Thanks, Heiko.
Heiko is so engaged.
He is.
Might not even watch anymore. It's so cool. Just left this. It's like, oh, and like Henning, ooh, he's late. Yeah.
No. He's really late. We're already 1 hour over.
Oh, that was so fun.
This is so fun.
It's Twitter, so you've probably seen this, right? This like
I haven't been looking on Twitter. I know.
That was awesome. I mean, like, such a great catch, right? I don't know if this was really on purpose, but duplicate content twice, right? Duplicate content. I love it. It could really be a John Mew joke.
Yeah, it is. It sounds
really
like it.
mad props to Mary for seeing this. This is really
cool. That is such nerdy humor. Love it. Whoever came up with this was giggling to themselves the whole day. Yeah, good.
Or maybe it's just a mistake, and we are giggling.
I hope not. We have some tests. Can we have this every episode?
Yeah, Heiko, we need you.
Yes, we do. We're relying on you. Oh, a new test by Search Pilot. This is a tradition for every single 302 of a kind show to have one of these tests in there. This time they're adding keyword-rich alt text to images, which previously had no alt text whatsoever. What was the impact on organic traffic? What do you think, Marcus?
Positive.
Why? It's better than nothing.
As a keyword-rich alt text, it sounds a little bit spammy, but I mean, like, if you, I just come from the perspective that you didn't use alt text before, so everything will be better than nothing. I mean, unless it's like it's spammed. This is just what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And here's the control and the variant there. So there's nothing, and it's an e-commerce website, right? So they could get a lot of traffic through image search, through visual search, and it's the product name, which I don't know if it's keyword rich, or maybe that's just the diagram. And it was
probably
okay.
Inconclusive, oder?
Yeah, inconclusive.
I didn't even read it. Inconclusive. Oh, stimmt sogar.
Yeah. But the fact that they weren't able to optimize the alt text and make it unique to each image may have contributed to this result. So if they could have properly created a descriptive alt text, then that could be another test, a future test. So unique alt text for the images, which can be automated.
Given, right?
I know. Well,
as I would always say, like, if the alt texts are empty, put something in there. I think there's going to be at least a little bit of a uplift.
A given, yeah.
Interesting.
At least for accessibility purposes as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, you have a true point here. There's so many people who rely on screen readers and stuff like this, right? So this is it. It's about user experience, and you don't want to single those people out.
Especially for e-commerce.
Yeah,
like, this is so important.
Obviously.
Like, yeah. This was quite new that you added in today.
Yeah, I just saw it this morning, and I sent it to you before I downloaded it, before I read it. I think it's still interesting, but I was not super happy with that study for a couple of reasons. It's because it was from my perspective, it was a little bit too general, meaning that they went to industries like sports and fitness and fashion and finance and stuff like this, and they always have that CTR curve. But what I would have seen is actually the CTRK curve clustered by intent, navigational queries, transactional queries, informational queries, because this is obviously totally will be totally different. Even within those niches. So, I mean, just doing this over the niche it's
not enough.
I mean, it's still interesting, but we always had these standard curves kind of things. But I mean, what about SERPs with featured snippet? What about SERPs with other SERP integrations and stuff like this? This is when I'm really interested in how the CTR might change, right? But not specifically regarding the industry. So for me, despite the fact this is like very comprehensive, lots of data went into this, I thought it's a little bit too shallow and also like, yeah, didn't give me like real insights, I would say. Yeah. Also,
like for
yeah,
example,
CTR by position very significantly from industry to industry, but it's not by the industry itself. It's by the intent, by the nature of the SERP, and then within the industry, right? Also, and so it's like it didn't went, it didn't go too far.
And I don't know what I should do with information like May and December are the months with the lowest click-through rates. Like,
yeah, because you will.
Interesting.
I would say because you have more ads. I mean, like in front of Christmas, people just have much more ads, right? And obviously, super monetized people are going to click on ads, which and they won't click on organic results. And this might be the reason here. But this is what I mean, right? This is like it's like standard things, right? But I'd rather be interested in these kind of nuggets. It's like with featured snippets and stuff like this, right? This is really gets interesting to really challenge my featured snippets that I have, and this is just CTR curves all over again, right? Also, still good,
but
still worthwhile.
I'm sure some interesting facts in there to sort of strengthen your studies as well. But yeah, fair enough. Cool. I will still give it a little download.
Interesting. No, you don't need to download it. I put it in Slack. You can just download it.
Oh, you put it in Slack. Thank you. Great. And then we already mentioned it, but we're going to finish on the new episode of Search Off the Record.
Also fantastic. Also really, I mean, I'm not big a podcast fan, but today I actually had to do some data validation, and it was like very good to have this on the side. And I actually ended up writing everything down, not doing my data validation. But it was so interesting. And it's really interesting when John, Martin, and Gary talk about their views. Thank you. Their views on the future of SEO. It's super interesting because like John threw a couple of things in there. Like SEOs should know HTML. Okay, that's a given. Then the trend from native apps to WhatsApp to web apps, right? And they strongly believe, as I do as well, that like web apps, this is really the future. I think it doesn't make a lot of sense in a lot of ways for native apps, besides like games and stuff like this, right? But even video chat stuff can be done within a web app. And stuff like this. So the possibilities have really evolved, right? And it's just a much better choice instead of having a native app. Just for the fact of people having to download it, having to update it all the time. You have to nudge people to update it. And with a web app, it's always fresh, right? It's always new. And there's so many pros for web apps, progressive web apps, and it was also very interesting how they think about this. SEO in JavaScript, obviously, this is not going away. As people, especially SEOs, have to get comfortable with JavaScript.
Increasing, yeah,
because this is going to be a much bigger part of their job probably in the future. They talked about URLs going away, which was also very interesting. Which I also always thought that Google tries to get rid of URLs, but there was actually a very interesting side conversation about the difference between URIs and URLs. URIs, for example, which you would have with app indexing kind of things, right? And actually, there was also this very interesting tidbit, which I wasn't know, that you could actually also, in the robots.txt, it now also supports that kind of thing, which is like really interesting. But basically what they said, when they did the change of the IP formats, going from IP4 to IPv6, this was that already took a long time, right? And Gary said
that's true.
Crazier, to move away from this. But nevertheless, like Martin also said, there could be sort of like information is stored as a hash you can get from multiple locations, right? So it's sort of like a blockchain-y thing that you would basically have pieces of content on the blockchain, and obviously it would be within a distributed system. And also, again, it's like very cool to listen to it and just let your mind flow, and just like hear between the lines what these very bright minds are thinking about the future of SEO. They talked about more meta tags, which they obviously don't want that, right? We shouldn't use more meta tags. And actually it was also that the need for meta tags goes away, right? Although
Hopefully.
they really appreciate stuff like canonicals as basically giving the webmaster the possibility to really voice their recommendation how to deal with certain things and stuff like this. But nevertheless, Google wants to be able to do this all themselves, so not being able to rely on meta tags, stuff like this. Then you obviously, what we already talked about with the indexing API, this is what I thought is super interesting, and you can really hear that they're not really fans of this. Structured data, super interesting. And it's also super interesting is because John also said, also Google understands what a product page is, right? Also they don't really need that help. So why should you insert that structured data? And it's sort of like a control mechanism also for the webmaster to actually be able to say, this is the product, this is the price. And although Google is able to do this, this is still nice for the webmaster to, by using structured data, to actually really tell this to Google, and really this is how I want to present it. And they say it's nice to have a machine readable format. But what's really interesting in that discussion, that it basically comes down to the point of, it's just a matter of time that they won't need these structured data anymore, right? And structured data is sort of like just an override function. Yeah, also that if something like goes severely wrong, like
I can imagine,
on the page, right?
Yeah.
It's sort of like an override to use the same thing. But what is really happening, right? And this has also been why Google has been pushing structured data so much, right? Is that Google learns, by this is the site, this is the structured data, to really learn, where the information is on the page and kind of stuff, to really be this, as will be like 100% certain this is a product page, sort of like a new meta tag, right? They made this joke, it was really fun, like the meta tag is product page is true, so to speak, right? Also you don't even need these specific metrics. This is really about like defining this is the product page. But it really, for me, it sounds like on a mid, on a medium term, this is only a matter of time that Google won't need structured data anymore, but will be much smarter in doing this all themselves. Still, you have that as an override, but they just won't need it anymore. Then they had voice search, and Martin said, "Oh, the future that will never be."
Yes,
always
a good way of putting it.
The trends for 2021. Ooh, voice search. Why is it? What I mean, like also for SEOs, it's not a trend for SEOs because it doesn't really matter if you speak it, if you type it. I don't know, right? Also,
what changes? Nothing.
Yeah, as I was also, and I also loved hearing this because I was like, oh, they think the same way here. And links, and this is the last point here. And also an interesting tidbit from Martin here. We don't need as many links as people believe for ranking. And this is also what I strongly believe in, what I also tell people all the time, that also people would be surprised and how much, because we have from this, oh, you need to do continuous link building and stuff. No, I'm more like in the camp of 0 and 1. Also, can I trust you? Can I not trust you? And that's kind of situation. And so it's only a couple of links that might be enough for Google, to test you for all the stuff that you have. And you might not even need it. And so I really love this tidbit from Martin. We don't need as many links as people believe for ranking. So
how many links then? 7 or more than 7? Well, as always, it depends. 42. Yes.
Yeah. So I can really recommend this podcast to anyone. This is super, super cool. Listen to these 3 guys, talking about the future of SEO. And as I found it super interesting. And again, I mean, like, I still have to do the work now after the show that I failed to do while I was like trying to do
data validation.
But it was still worth it. So I'm gonna finish my work after this.
I always listen to them while I'm at the gym because then I just don't need to focus on anything. I can just sit on the bike and enjoy it. Yeah, exactly. No, thank you so much, guys, for the Search Off the Record podcast. We love it.
Absolutely.
As do many people. It's really entertaining and educational. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that's it for the news. I say that's it, but we're already 20 minutes over because there's so much to chat about, but that is normal, I think.
Yeah, sorry for talking too much. Yeah.
No. It's really interesting. And thanks so much for catching me up because I've just escaped the SEO world for a couple of weeks while seeing family and touring the UK. But next week, we're also not here because...
Yeah, next week is SEO.com. Ah, stimmt.
Stimmt.
Oh,
Genau.
yeah. So next week, no show to SEO.com. That is true. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, we can't do it live from there, right? At 4 p.m.
I'm also talking at 4 p.m., so not really.
Okay,
yeah.
No, then definitely not. Okay.
We'll figure it out. Interesting.
So probably not. Then in 2 weeks. Ah, damn! I really wanted to get like this regularity again, but yeah, whatever.
That's life. That's life. That's how it is.
Life. And that's a wrap. So thank you everybody for listening, for joining live, for watching. Your beer is empty, my beer is empty.
Almost.
So it's a good time to refill. Yeah, and actually my dad is coming. So
Billy Tandler.
Billy Hans Tandler. Also regular viewer.
Yes.
I will definitely do. Yeah. So thanks everybody for watching. I hope you had a great time. Have a great weekend, because this is what we would like to 302 also temporarily redirect you to now. So we happily temporarily redirect you from work to
the weekend.
That's us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye. Take care.